There are mornings when I look in the mirror and barely recognize my own reflection. My body feels slower. My memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. Even the face in the mirror, it seems like someone else's. Have you ever felt like that? As we get older, we start losing things we once thought would always be there. Our health, our work, our roles in the family, slowly slipping away. And one day, in the middle of a familiar home, you suddenly realize you feel lost. No longer the center of anything. The seat at the dining table that used to be mine now often stays empty. It's just aging. But then I had an epiphany. It's the thought of I'm on the decline that really takes the wind out of me. It's not age itself that gets me down. It's the feeling that I've lost my value. During the quiet days of stillness, I started learning how to live again. Not trying to go back to how I was, but to live peacefully with who I am now. From my fatigue, I learned kindness. From my loneliness, I learned to check in with myself. And in that journey, I discovered 5 lessons. Small, but enough to help me get back on my feet. Enough to stop blaming myself. Enough to realize every morning I wake up is a gift. If any part of this resonates with you, feel free to hit like to save it and subscribe to continue this journey with me. Because maybe we need the same things more than we realize. Let's take this step together. Here are 5 lessons for those who are aging but refusing to let age defeat them. The first and the hardest one I learned, accepting that I've changed. But that doesn't mean I'm less. Have you ever paused? Just because getting up and sitting down is no longer as easy as it once was, it's not pain, it's just slower. And that slowness makes you take a step back and then take a long look at yourself and sigh softly, I've changed. After 60, there comes a moment that everyone faces, the moment when we're no longer the strongest version of ourselves. Our walk slows down, our face starts to show wrinkles, our hands sometimes forget what they're holding, and deep inside, we start remembering the old me, the one who was fast, healthy, and could do a million things without breaking a sweat. But you know what? It's the comparison with the old me that really hurts. Not because I'm weaker, but because I haven't learned how to be strong in a new way. A study from Stanford University shows that older adults often handle emotions better, empathize more deeply, and are less affected by short-term stress than younger people. The brain doesn't decline, it's just shifting roles. From warrior to observer, from burden bearer to mentor. Mr. Jerry, 72, was once a mechanic. After retiring, he distanced himself from family, staying indoors more, feeling unnecessary. But one afternoon, his grandchild asked, "Grandpa, how do I fix this?" Holding a toy car with a broken wheel, he sat down, made a few adjustments. The child looked at him like he was a superhero. And at that moment, he said, I felt alive again, not because I'm still strong, but because I'm still useful. Old age doesn't take anything away. It just changes the name of what you used to do, from busy person to trusted one, from fast runner to guide. And if you keep chasing the old version of yourself, the old physique, the old role, the old speed, it's like trying to squeeze into a shirt that's too tight. It's uncomfortable and it's no longer you. Peace starts the moment you stop asking, why am I not the same as before? And start asking, who am I in today's version? Because you haven't lost anything. You're just living a new chapter. You just haven't learned to embrace it yet. And to learn that again, you don't need anything grand. Just every morning, instead of looking in the mirror to see what's different, look for something to be thankful for because you're still here today. A ray of sunlight, a favorite old song, a text to someone you haven't heard from in a while. Write it down or say it out loud, the things that remind you you're still alive, still connecting with others, even if it's slower, gentler, but deeper. And when you begin to look at yourself with kinder eyes, you'll also start to care more about what keeps you steady, not youth, but health. But this time it's about taking care of yourself, not because anyone told you to. Have you ever thought, if you were to faint in the bathroom, who would be the first to know? It's not that children don't care, it's that everyone is busy. Work, young kids, finances, stress, and a parent's health. It doesn't make a sound. Many people over 60 still hold on to the idea that when I'm sick, my kids will take me to the doctor. But the truth is, it's the waiting that lets many health issues silently get worse without us even realizing it. A study from the University of Michigan found that people over 65 who schedule checkups every 6 months or 4 times more likely to catch chronic diseases early compared to those who only see the doctor when they're feeling exhausted. And because they catch issues early, they're less likely to end up in the hospital, need extensive care, and most importantly, they maintain their independence. Dr. Angela Harrington, a general internist, remembers a patient of hers, Mr. Walter, 72. He seemed healthy but didn't go for regular checkups because he didn't want to bother his children. When he fell in the bathroom due to low blood sugar, they discovered he'd been dealing with mild kidney failure and metabolic disorders for years. If he'd been diagnosed 6 months earlier, a simple change in diet could have helped. Instead, he now needs regular dialysis and can't live alone. On the other hand, her 90-year-old mother, Mrs. Helen, still schedules her dental, eye, and cardiovascular checkups every 6 months. She says, "I want my kids to see me as strong. I don't want to be the one they worry about every time the phone rings at midnight." The issue is, if we wait until we're in pain to see the doctor, it's often too late. That back pain you think is from getting older. It might actually be a bone fracture from osteoporosis. That fatigue you chalk up to lack of sleep. It could be a sign of hypothyroidism. Every time we say, "I'll deal with it tomorrow," we miss the chance to take care of ourselves. So if you don't want a simple slip to take away your ability to care for yourself, start now. Put that doctor's appointment on your fridge. Set a reminder every 6 months for a general checkup. Call your doctor's office and ask them to help you schedule it. It all starts with one phone call. Sometimes showing love to your children isn't about giving more. It's about not letting them rush to the hospital because of you. Taking care of your health is essential, but there's another part of you that's been overlooked for a long time. Your emotions. The things you want to say, but keep to yourself. The sadness no one knows because you've gotten used to staying silent. There's a kind of silence that older adults fear the most. The silence itself. Many older adults in the U.S. have shared that the scariest moment of the day is when everything suddenly goes quiet. No TV, no footsteps, no phone notifications. Just silence. And in that empty space, it's easy to feel like you're retreating, being forgotten, losing the battle in your own life. But have you ever thought about it differently? That silence isn't a void, it's a space where you can hear your own voice again. A study at UCLA showed that when people sit in complete silence, no TV, no phone, no voices, the part of the brain associated with self-awareness becomes significantly more active. This area helps us recognize who we are, how we truly feel, not based on others, but based on ourselves. Mrs. Janet, 71, from San Diego, shared that after her husband passed away, her hardest time was in the afternoons. The house felt empty, and my heart felt empty too. But one day, instead of turning on the TV, she made a cup of tea, sat on the balcony, and did nothing. For the first time in months, she heard the wind, the birds, and even the whisper of her own heart saying, "I miss him, but I'm still here." From that day on, every afternoon, she made exactly one cup of tea, sat in that same spot on the balcony, as if having a date with herself. Silence was no longer frightening. It became a companion, honest and gentle. You see, sometimes it's those quiet moments that allow us to heal the most deeply. No one is rushing you, no one is demanding anything, and there's no need to prove that you're okay. Just sitting there with yourself and breathing. And if today you find yourself in an afternoon of silence, know that you are not alone. Silence is not a void. It's the place where you find your own voice, when the world stops forcing you to say anything. If you're quietly watching this, the next part might surprise you even more. Because silence is only one part of the journey. There's something deeper, more subtle, slowly settling into old age. It's not the loudest things that drain us. It's the things we hide most deeply in our hearts, day by day. And sometimes what exhausts us isn't the lack of people around us, but the fact that no one has asked us how we're doing for so long. But you know you don't always have to wait for someone to ask. Sometimes all it takes is for you to pause and ask yourself a kind question. Have you ever noticed that it's been many days since anyone has asked you, "How are you today?" When we were younger, we didn't really care about that. But as time goes on, those quiet spaces are no longer comfortable. They feel like a silent shadow following us all day, reminding us that we're slowly disappearing from the attention of others. And so we begin to wait. We wait for the phone to ring. We wait for a message from our kids. We wait for someone to notice we're sad. But you know what? There's something simple yet powerful you can do. Instead of waiting for others to care, ask yourself, how do I feel today? That small question holds so much power. It's a reminder that you're still here, your emotions matter, and you deserve to be heard by yourself. A study from the University of Michigan found that checking in with your emotions daily can help older adults reduce loneliness and anxiety by up to 30%. You don't need anyone else to understand you right away. Just give yourself the patience to listen to yourself day after day. I once met Mrs. Helen, a 79-year-old woman living alone in Brooklyn. She didn't use social media or call her children often. Instead, every morning, she'd make a cup of tea, sit by the window, and write a few lines in a small notebook. The weather is sunny today. My knees are sore, but I'm feeling fine. I'll try baking banana bread. She told me, I don't talk to anyone much, but I don't feel lonely because every day I still know how I'm living. Maybe you don't write in a journal, and that's okay. You don't have to. Just take a few minutes each morning to place your hand on your chest and ask, am I okay? You don't need a full answer, just the presence of yourself with yourself, because sometimes peace doesn't come from outside. It comes from the gentle voice you give yourself. And that simple question, asked every day, will become the bridge that leads you to peace. Even on days when no one calls your name, listening to yourself is the first step. But eventually there comes a point where you don't just want to listen. You want to live in harmony with who you are now, even if you're different, even if you're no longer the best version you once were. Have you ever secretly hoped that one day you'll go back to how you were, back to a healthy body, a sharp memory, flexibility, and speed, before the aches, before the shortness of breath after climbing a few stairs? Many people over 60 still hold on to the belief, once I fully recover, I'll live joyfully like I did before. But that mindset becomes a burden, because after all these years, your body has changed. Some things won't come back, and some pains, though quiet, are still waiting to flare up. If we keep insisting on going back to how things were, we just end up feeling like we're failing. A 2021 study from the University of California found that older adults who accepted their physical changes rather than fighting them had better mental health, less anxiety, and were 34% less likely to suffer from depression. Mr. Raymond, 68, from San Diego, was once a physical education teacher. After a mild stroke, he could no longer teach the way he used to. At first, he tried to walk 5 miles every day, just like before. But the more he pushed, the more exhausted and frustrated he became. Eventually, he said something that stuck with me. I don't need to go back to how I was. I just need to not abandon myself today. Since then, he's become a gentle yoga instructor at a senior center. No more shouting out numbers, just sitting down, teaching others how to breathe, stretch their backs, bend their arms, and smile. Sometimes what we need isn't to return to how we were. It's to learn how to live gently with who we are now. Peace isn't about chasing old shadows. It's about looking in the mirror, seeing a new version of yourself, slower, softer, with more marks, and saying, hello, I'll keep walking with you. Not to go back anywhere, but to live fully in the present moment, for yourself, not anyone else. Because in truth, what drains us isn't aging, it's resisting who we are today. If you've made it this far, maybe in your heart, you're also finding peace, like when someone gently closes a door behind you. We don't need to be young again. We don't need to force ourselves to be like anyone else. We just need to learn how to keep moving forward with our own feet, slowly but steadily. Because in the end, peace doesn't come from how much we can still do, but from how we live with ourselves. Sometimes just admitting I have changed is already a brave step. There are days when simply getting out of bed, combing your hair, or scheduling a checkup is progress. There are quiet moments, not of sadness, but of space to listen to your inner voice. There are mornings when no one asks, but you can still hug yourself with a kind phrase. Am I okay today? Age isn't the end, it's a new chapter where we stop rushing and start living authentically. If this video has helped you feel less alone, feel free to share it with a friend or leave a few lines in the comments. Who knows? What you write might be just the support someone else needs. And if you're ready to live slowly, truly, and peacefully, start today.